What it do? What it do? Welcome to the Jeaniusclub. I am your boy, Lean Jeans. And we gonna get right into it. You hear me? We got some shit to talk about today, man. There's gonna be some it might be a little bit of friction in the building, right? Because Candace Owens, right? And what's his name? Tucker Carlson. So Tucker Carlson, he been going viral, and we talking about Israel. We're talking about kind of Iran and Israel and the United States. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all of this stuff is coming up because of what's going on with Israel and Iran, right? It's coming back up. It's been up. Now, Candace Owens had a lot to say about it, and she was basically saying how the media is controlled, like through lobbyists and things of this nature, to where, they can put out they know how to control the media, right? If you don't know that, then you just I don't know where you been at, you know what I'm saying? But this is what Candace Owens is saying, and this is what she got canceled for. This is what Kanye West got canceled for. Nick Cannon got canceled for. We can go on and go on, right? We can go back to Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it's a real thing. But she was breaking down on her channel about how they did her, and she peeped it. She basically whatever little whatever they got going on, a machine they got working, they know how to basically work it to get you out the way. You know what I mean? Or steer another narrative. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with her. But let's take a couple clips. I got a couple clips of Candace Owens. Let's look at a couple of them, then we're going to come back and reply to this shit. Let's react to this shit. Let's go.
Is it Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, okay? So let's back this up to see how we got there. And I promise you, this is going to astound you. Last week, as we all remember, Tucker Carlson, not Candace Owens, went viral because he had a sit down with Ted Cruz. War was on the brink, whether or not we were going to get involved in another one of Israel's wars. And he pressed Ted Cruz on the idea that it was America's biblical duty to protect the foreign state of Israel. And things got pretty spicy. Take a listen.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation God's referring to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
And I want to make clear what's happening here because it's all very relevant. Tucker shows up to interview a person that has voting power, the ability to decide whether or not Americans are going to support potentially another war in the Middle East. And he's interviewing him about this. And it's not Tucker, but it is Ted Cruz that brings up his theology. And then things get out of whack because I think maybe Ted Cruz is realizing in this moment that that's kind of a crazy position to have, to say there's a bunch of religious fanatics in the Middle East and we've got to conquer them because they're religious fanatics, but then your basis to be a form of religious fanaticism. And he kind of suggests that Tucker Carlson is anti-Semitic. Take a listen.
It's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel, when we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese, you're not talking about Japanese, you're not talking about the Brits, you're not talking about the French. The question, what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now.
Senator, you're asking the questions, Tucker. You're asking, why are the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that, and I have
That is exactly what you just said.
Well, actually, I can speak for myself and tell you what I am saying.
Good.
On behalf not simply of myself, but on of my many Jewish friends who would have the same questions, which is to what extent, and it's interesting you're trying to derail my questions by calling me an anti-Semite, which you are.
I did not.
Of course you are. And rather than be honorable enough to say it right to my face, you are in a sleazy, feline way implying it, or just asking questions about the Jews. I'm not asking questions about the Jews. There's nothing to do with Jews or Judaism. It has to do with the foreign government.
Isn't Israel controlling our foreign policy? That's not about the Jews?
You said, I'm asking you.
And by the way, you're the one that just called me, I think, a sleazy feline. So let's be clear.
It's sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite, which you just did.
No, I just said, why is that the only question you're asking? You answer it. Give me another reason. If you're not an anti-Semite, give me another reason why the obsession is Israel.
I am in no sense obsessed with Israel. We are on the brink of war with Iran. And so these are valid questions.
But you're not asking about Iran or the Ayatollah.
If I can finish, you asked me why I'm obsessed with Israel.
Yep.
3 minutes after telling me that when you first ran for Congress, you elucidated one of your main goals, which is to defend Israel.
Yes.
And I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel. I don't see a lawmaker's job as defending the interests of a foreign government, period. Okay. Any government, including the ones that my ancestors come from. So that's my position. That does not make me an anti-Semite. And shame on you for suggesting otherwise. And I mean that. And that's low, and you know it's low. So why don't you just answer my questions in a straightforward, rational way? You certainly have the IQ to do it.
So, shame on you is cute, by the way, Tucker.
It is. It's not cute. I'm offended. I'm obsessed with the Jews. You just told me
you just called me a sleazy feline.
It is sleazy to imply that I'm an anti-Semite for asking questions about how my government is run.
Do you want to count how many questions you asked about? What about the Jews? What about Israel? What about AIPAC?
I never asked about the Jews. This has nothing to do with the Jews, whatever that means. This has to do with a foreign government. And once again, shame on you for conflating the two.
So it's incredible. And I want to be very clear that this interview is potent. That's not the effects of this interview, it's not going to go away. In my honest viewpoint, it is the beginning of the end of Christian Zionism. And Christian Zionism is necessary for Israel to go on doing what they want with nobody asking any questions. You're going, wait a minute, why are we supporting this? Why do we continue to support this? And so it went absolutely viral as far as debates go. It was very clear that Tucker was the determined winner. But you have to imagine that for the groups that have spent millions upon millions, billions of dollars investing in poisoning the minds of young Americans, poisoning the minds of people at Sunday school to believe that, like, as almost an indulgence, that if you just let Israel do whatever it wants, you will be blessed. That this interview would have sent them mad, and mad it did. Because oddly, in response to this debate, despite everyone agreeing Tucker won handily, we started seeing an appearance of influencers that began not just attacking Tucker and pretending like nobody just watched what they watched and going like, Tucker's crazy, but strangely attaching my name to it. It was not just Tucker, it was Tucker and Candace. I'm going to show you just one example, okay? It's a little long, but it's worth watching. This is a woman, her name is Nadine. She has 16,000 followers, and this is the video that she did in reaction to Tucker's sit down with Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
Okay, did anybody else watch the Tucker Carlson interview with Ted Cruz yesterday and think, what in the world has happened to Tucker Carlson?
No one thought that.
I really used to like this guy, but he looked so insane during this interview. He was so offended and acted completely juvenile. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen Tucker Carlson do. He looked so bad. He literally made himself look very weak and immature. Did anybody else get that same? I mean, I
No.
was watching it with this open mind thinking this is going to be a great interview. And then it just went downhill really fast. But Tucker was, it grossed me out. I don't even think I can watch Tucker Carlson anymore. I really feel like he needs to give an apology to Ted Cruz. It was, what a debacle. Anybody else feel the same way? If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back, tell me what you think, because I watched it twice and could not believe what I was seeing. Tucker, get a grip, dude. You were so rude, so condescending. It was disgusting. And you know what? And let's talk about Candace Owens, too.
Let's do that.
I used to like watching her, but she's gone completely crazy and downhill. What is happening with these people? Yeah, just when you think you've got the right people on the right side, boom. Cuckoo. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm mind blown today over it.
How many times have you prayed for a financial miracle? Here's the thing though, that miracle won't happen unless you take action.
I'm mind blown about just how unconvincing of a performance that was personally. A couple of things that I want to point out is that she got completely crushed in the comments. I mean, 99% of comments were like, are we watching the same thing? And there's another one, Trump on Israel. She writes, sorry, Candace Owens, your narrative is not playing out. Okay, you have no idea who I am. Someone has sent you, perhaps, I'm surmising here, telling you to go after Candace Owens, and we have evidence of that. And we saw across the board that there was this random typo in my name, Candace Owens. So then I get a flurry of emails, telling us that it's not just Nadine. On Sunday, people went to church, whatever church it is that they attend, whatever denomination, and there were a flurry of pastors that preached to their congregation regarding the evils of, you guessed it, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Again, why are we in the same breath? Okay, let's check out this preacher. I've covered his face because I don't think it's relevant. I'm not trying to create an army of people to go after him. It's not what I believe in. I want to attack the substance of what he's saying on stage, not the individual. But here he is. He gets up on stage this past Sunday and he preaches about Candace, Tucker, and a couple of other political people. Take a listen.
Let me just say this. If some of us spent the same amount of time we did on Fox News as we do the Bible, there would be a revival in America today. If some of you listen to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and these guys are anti-Semitic. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to say it. They're anti-Semitic. And their rhetoric is dangerous.
And that's not it, by the way. Like I was watching this sermon going, this is incredible. Listen to who else he mentioned later on.
We're going to have my friend Robert Stearns is going to come here. And he has a unique ministry that God is utilizing him to touch the Israeli people. He knows Netanyahu. He knows all these amazing people. And I met Mike Huckabee, an ambassador of Israel. Let me just say something about Mike Huckabee. He's the real deal.
Oh.
He's the real deal. He's a good man of God.
Guess which student has a better chance of getting into an Ivy League school? First, take a look at Zach. He's valedictorian.
Listen, I am the last person that should judge anyone. I took a very liberal route to conservatism, a similarly liberal route to Catholicism. But I just hope that any person, speaking about just having spiritual discernment, that if you are sitting at your congregation and you are expecting to hear the word of God and how to apply it perhaps in your personal lives, and you are instead getting what sounds like it should be on Fox News, like someone is telling you Bibi Netanyahu is a great guy and you know what's going on in Palestine. Like you've seen the images, you see the kids, the starvation campaigns. He's literally being tried by his own government for corruption. And he's like, he's good. But then that Tucker Carlson, I'm just going to come right out and say it. I mean, what church is this?
I mean, when it comes to what Candace Owens has been dealing with as a, black woman in America, seeming to be pretty knowledgeable, you know. I agree with a lot of her viewpoints, Not, nobody can agree with, I guess I don't agree with nobody 100%. That's why, like the presidency is faulty. Like you got to come to some type of common ground. As being around other people, you got to compromise. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with a lot of her points. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to this Israel thing. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's sidebar. Look. I don't know, man. This shit crazy, man. I don't really want to say too much and get really deep into this shit for real. I'm just trying to put it out there. Like, look, I'm trying to grow my channel. I ain't got time for them boys to come snatch my shit up when I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like, but if you can hear what I'm saying about what Candace Owens is saying, because basically Tucker Carlson or whatever his name is, he basically is kind of like asking the questions to this guy who is for Israel, because he taking scriptures out of the Bible out of context, kinda. Yeah, it is what it said, but you still ain't did the whole math on it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what they've been doing forever. Because if world in the Bible could mean 7, 10 different things, then anything in the Bible could mean 7, 10 different things, you would think. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do your due diligence with that and understand when people is talking and how they talking around you or over your head or trying to finesse you. But once you know the truth, it's gonna be hard for a motherfucker to finesse you. And people is waking up. Even white people is waking up at this point. You know what I'm saying? So they, I'm talking about like the average white person. So yeah, man. Y'all let me know. This was a deep conversation, deep situation. But somebody got to talk about it though. You know what I'm saying? And somebody got to be willing to say fuck everything when it comes to this shit. And that's why you gotta love Kanye. Kanye like the coldest. He like the best revolutionary rapper of our time. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see somebody like Kanye West again is an artist. Michael Jackson kind of did it, but he ain't do it like Kanye. Prince, they got, niggas be doing it, but they ain't doing it like Kanye. Ain't too many niggas gonna get canceled, but really didn't get canceled. Like, is that a trick? We don't know. Look at that ass nigga. You in the trick bag. Hey, but yeah, good conversation, man. We talking about Israel, America, and Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and this thing with the Jews, man, and how they run and control and try to finesse shit, man. So, y'all hit that like button. Comment, subscribe, give your boys some goddamn engagements, because I'm trying to grow. I'm out.